brother. Well, hey, everyone. How are you doing? Happy Friday to ya. And hope you're doing good. Just digging out in some Steely Dan. And hey, good to see everyone. Well, technically, I can't see any of you, but hey, I'll feel your presence. How's that? I think that's kind of cool. So good to see everyone. Trust everything is going good for you this day. And hey, just looking forward to sharing some good times with good people. Um, you know, life is interesting. We are in most interesting times. And, you know, the only thing I know what to do, and by the way, thank you all you moderators. I know you do a great job, Sherry, Johan. Who else is here? I haven't really seen everyone else. Lori, good to see you. So just keep it clean, keep the energy pure. You know, I learned a long time ago, you have two paths. You can take a path that benefits no one, or you can take a path that you know is the right one. And love is always the right answer. That plaque I have right up there, that plaque is a daily reminder for me to know what, hey, Haley, how are you? What I aim to live my life by. And, you know, it's been quite interesting. Just for the record, you know, I want to say thank you. Well over 500 emails. Never good to lose composure, right? Well, you know, some of us tea, and it's hot. It's a good one. But anyway, thank you. All right. Well, thank you for the donation. Appreciate it. So yeah, overwhelming. Still is. So thank you. Also, while he gathers his composure, I got this yesterday in the mail. I don't know who sent it to me. I'll show it to you. Whoever sent this, thank you, thank you, thank you. It is absolutely, I've never seen anything like this, folks. Have you? Is that like not just the coolest thing? Yeah, and good protection, good protection. It goes right here next to my other pyramid. Yes. And the crystals that came with this as well. Thank you. Big hug to you, whoever you are. High five if it don't violate your space. Also, Brian, get better, buddy. Milky Way Weekly, come on. Flu is kicking his butt. So let's send some healing energy that direction. And one last little thing to take care of, and then we're going to move on. Thank you, Jeff Doherty. You know, I was in ROTC, and you find out things about people, and just you learn. This thing over here is amazing. It just started just doing this anyway. Like, well, how did that happen? But Jeff, buddy, if it ever got into the tall weeds, you would be the man I'd want to be with, knowing that you'd always have the back. So, way to go. And thank you all. You know, what turned out to be, it was just a spell, folks. It was designed, it was an attack. I don't even think that the individuals that were involved were aware that they were being used. We are breaking serious ground here, folks. This shouldn't have surprised me. Actually, it shouldn't have surprised any of us. We are doing things here that it's never been done. There's never been a study like this of this rarest book. It's rare even than any Bible. And by the way, the reason I think I told everyone, the reason why I'm not a Christian is because God's not one. And if there was a Jesus, he wouldn't be one either. If you read the book, he preached against what that religion has become. I'm going to do my Kurt. What would God need with a starship? Thank you, Jeff. Anyway, so that's why I'm not. When you come to that realization, you suddenly, it clicks. You go, oh. And, people say, oh, you don't believe in God. You're right, I don't. I believe in something above God. And there is. There is, trust me. It's right in your book if you are of that persuasion. You just got to read it. So thank you all. We're breaking ground here, folks. All of you are a part of this. And when hate comes, and it will, we just have to accept that. All we can do when attacks are made is to love. You see, I could unleash legions of demons, but a wise person knows you don't do that. The only thing that's going to work in this world is that we have to stop what has been done in the past. And we just love them. Hurts. We're all human. And particularly if you're an empath or an intuitive or an adept, of which I am. When I took this initiation, I knew there would be tests. And so each one that we succeed, folks, it carries over into the next life. It really does. And the Liber Lilith shows us, why the path is the way it's become now. I'm going to tell you what I'm convinced of, my good friends, is that we're seeing what our ancient ancestors saw. We're seeing a reshuffling of the deck with the archons. And, it nearly drove our ancestors insane. Yeah. So, hello, Warrior Queen. By the way, Lois, going to get you on next Wednesday. We're not going to allow this to do any more interruption. We got work to do here, folks. We've got serious work. And the first work we have to do is, learn to walk in that spirit of love. It's the best thing to break any black magic, any spell. Now, I did a spell of favor. And, when you break the spirit that's behind that energy, the problem is, this is what we're going to learn today, and we're going to get right into it. The amount of these spirits that exist, when one screws up like this one did, they're tormented. Yeah. So invoking favor upon everyone, folks, we all need favor. We invoke favor upon those who hate us, those who persecute us. We just invoke favor upon their lives. We speak peace. Peace that absolutely goes beyond the ability of understanding peace. And we speak it into their spirits, and we speak it into their lives, and we speak it into ours. And we speak for full restoration for all of us. May there be nothing missing, nothing broken found in any of our lives. And even those who choose, the other path. That's why we have made a unique community here. And we're not going to allow this. I told Brian in an email, get better. We need this voice, folks. This is a test for all of us. And that which was meant for harm has been turned to my good. There was at first that seemed like this mass exodus, it was like seeing the counter go, and you go, wow. But here's the remarkable thing. More have come than left. Wow. And again, the amount of emails. Wow. What are y'all trying to do? Make me cry? So we move on. So next Wednesday, we'll get Miss Lois on here. We're going to raise some money for her. We're going to feed some people in her community. And, hey, when the person's belly is full and it comes without obligation, they're going to ask why. Yeah. Okay. Here we go. Well, thank you. As they would say, thank you very much. So that's how we work. Yeah. I like to repeat Jeff. Jeff is great on this. Get that con out of my face. Listen, when you take a right hook when you're not expecting it, yeah, it hurts. But once you kind of shake the cobwebs and you go, okay, you have a choice. Do you invoke the same anger? Or do you suck it up, cupcake, and you say, no. I choose love. I choose favor. And then that old thing, that two-eyed monster called jealousy and envy, and how dare you come sneaking up. And what you do is just give it to the same dose that you got in the spirit realm. And you say, no, I invoke favor. And so there we go. All right. So let's, so I'm still confused as to who Lilith is. Well, girl with no name, Lilith is God. I mean, in the simplest terms, God in this document is named Samuel. And we've talked about the creation of how man came about because of Samuel. Different story than what has been adapted by certain different religions and dogmas. So we got a different story here, completely different story of what God is, who God is, how God operates, how he got in here. And so Lilith is his image. Odd, isn't it? Deep philosophy in here. The reason why God can't see in a mirror is because they have been severed by there is a force and a power that has our back. Humanity, mankind. We have a representative still in the pure light. The gift that we were given was the spark of that clear light. Some call it the spark of divinity. But that spark, God does not possess. And we're going to learn today, folks, there is no empty space. This space around me is literally filled with spirits. We're going to learn that Lilith has at her direct command 480 legions, taken the Roman count for a legion of 5,000 soldiers. That would give Lilith 2.4 million personal attaches, bodyguards, I don't know. So Lilith is God. God is a serpent. People don't want to hear this. My book that I am writing the title is going to be The World Worships the Serpent. And the book is coming along just fine. You can see I have been writing feverishly, and it's going to be a book of, well, something the world hasn't anticipated, but we've seen it all around. So there you go. Let's get into this, folks, because, we got a lot to cover. We got 2 days here to make up in a very short period of time. So here we go. When we left, and I'm going to take my image out of here so I don't see myself, but you'll see me. Peace, man. Hey, love you, buddies. Love you, darlings. I just choose to dance. It got so bad, I just went in and put on the Bee Gees, and then I put on a little Aretha Franklin, chain, chain, chain. Yeah, anyway, so I digress, but that's my therapy. All right, so when we left with Eve is the messenger of God. Now, understand this. If you missed the last episode, you need to go and catch up. I think it's part 6. We were studying who Eve was. The metaphor here is that Eve is used in replacement of Lilith. Lilith has such contempt for Eve. And we've gotten to that in previous, and so we need to move on. But anyway, so Eve is called the messenger of God. Very interesting terms here. When she enslaves a man to wickedness, she leaves him and rises up to the highest reaches of the firmament and proclaims her victory to the eons. She denounces the man before the throne of the Father of all. He gives her permission, and she descends and slaughters her lover as the sheep is sacrificed and consumed in the fire upon the altar. Then she carries his soul to Gehenna, and she also sends demons to plague all of mankind for its transgressions. I mean, we got some problems here, as we talked about last time. Number one, it shows that there is this physical kingdom right above our head. I don't know how far it extends out, but the firmament, this is where the kingdom of Samael, what we call God, is. There are eons. These are, they're never clearly defined. The best that we can figure out is that they are these beings beyond almost description of man. Now, this is interesting because Eve is Lilith, but here she comes and she denounces the man before the throne of the Father of all. Where have we heard that term? And he gives her permission. That's weird. Now, when you hear this about Eve going before the throne of God, accusing, this sounds a lot like the accuser Satan. That's what Satan is called, the accuser. When persons make accusations against you, and when they're particularly unfounded, rest easy. You know of which spirit it's coming from. That should immediately give you clues. So this must be addressed by man, because by this, God is nothing, thinks nothing of man more than a mud thing. By all the actions of these creatures and what we see going forward, they are not for man. Eve the destroyer. Eve is the destroyer because she will be sent to the wicked nations. Earth. They do not fear the Lord or obey his commandments. With her host, she will destroy and lay waste their cities. Their flock shall be made barren, and their fields sown with salt. The children of the unrighteous will die in their cribs before they can crawl. So who are the unrighteous? We don't know. But what kind of a God would allow a hellish realm like this that we live in today? She's known as the Princess of Screeching. Eve is known as the Princess of Screeching because she flies on wings through the night and screeches in the desert. The lonely traveler gathers his cloak about his shoulders and hurries on his way, lest she fall prey upon him and drag him to Diana. No pity. Eve is the harsh husk for the reason that she has no pity. The damned souls of her former lovers beg for mercy, and she mocks their cries with cruel laughter and drags them by the heel under the ground. Now, these are the deepest fears of mankind and are the cornerstone of what we call fear. Mostly, this has been ingrained to us to fear death. We all are very much aware they're going to either burn us or we're going to be put into the ground. And for mankind to have to face that as a mortal, that's the sin. So our fear is that death rules over us. Now, here's the key to this. Eve is Lilith. Eve is Lilith the Great, who is the consort of God. Samuel, the chief archon. She is called the little Lilith, who is the daughter of Cain, with the demoness Zillah. And if you need to go back and read all that. This is the same with Namah, queen of all sorceries. Let me tell you something about Namah. Namah to me is, wow. I don't even like saying her name. I could use a colloquialism for today, but I'm not going to. Anyway, these two are one and the same, even as the waning moon and the new moon are one and the same. So Lilith and God are one and the same. Eve is called the end of all flesh because she corrupts, as does flesh that turns black and putrefies when the spirit of life leaves it. Two things are brought out here. Number one, there is a spirit and there is a soul. The others are the names of Lilith. Lilith is, you could take her all the way back to Inanna with a Sumerian, Enki, Inyel, Ayu. She's been here. She's never left. If you say that spirits exist, well, these spirits exist then. How Lilith appears. The manner of appearance of Lilith. When she comes as Samuel, God, the slant serpent, is to lie with mortal women, and he has the body of a great snake with the face of a lion. Oftentimes, he has the head of a man with long golden hair, wearing a crown reddish gold. He encircles a woman in his coils so that she cannot move, and he violates her. His member is long and thin, with the hardness of ebony, but cold, so that the heat is out of her belly. His tongue is sharp like that of a lizard. He extends it into her ear or down her throat. You want to know, ladies, why you have a particular sensitive spot? With his lips, he whispers obscenities. He bites her breast and leaves blackness. He squirts poison into her womb that turns into corruptions and stinks, and the flies come, and she dies. Lilith has many forms, deceiving the seen. Seeking corruption, she puts on the shape of a comely youth with soft white skin and golden hair, falling in curls around his ears. He speaks in a high voice, sweet words of love. When he sings, it is as if a woman is singing. His laughter is gentle clash of cymbals, nor does his eyes ever leave her. With solicitudes, he beguiles her, foolish lover, until she is led to offer him all of her gifts. At last, she submits to any outrage he pleases to inflict. Her virtue lost, he reveals his true nature. Now, that word beguiles, by the way, is the word that was in the Latin Vulgate. And it means that, to be totally sexually seduced, completely, mentally, physically, spiritually. Lilith has many vessels. Lilith uses a multitude of vessels whose shape accords with the perversities of men. For there are some men who seek to lie with monsters, nor are they appeased until they have outraged their weeping souls and robbed them of their godliness. There's wisdom here. So they do it. They cannot be appeased until they have outraged their weeping souls. This is deep. It is them, no one else, that robs them of their godliness. Folks, it's very well stated through this document. Those of you who have been reading it, you know, you can lose this spark. Now, as we will get deeper, we're going to discover why not all bodies have the same soul. Some have no soul. And why many do not have the same spirit. Yeah. They, no one else, just themselves torment their souls as captive slaves from foreign lands and mock their degradation. They degrade themselves and then mock themselves. You know, you can carry this to what really is the problem with most of humanity. We hate ourselves. When we attack others, we're really attacking ourselves. It's just the way we are, folks. It takes discipline to change this. Now, sometimes Lilith comes as a creature, half woman and half serpent. Above the waist, she is woman. Below, she is monster from the abyss of waters. Now, this is a different abyss than the abyss that the fallen ones are in, and it's certainly a different abyss what has been typically taught in most religions today. There's good evidence that there are many different abysses. Man, that tea is good. Yet she has parts of a woman, and they lie with her. I don't know if many of you have Netflix, but if you go back and watch season 1, episode 1 of American Gods, the scene that you see with, and I forget her name, but she is in fact Lilith. Go, if you have Netflix, go and see season 1, episode 1. When the middle-aged man goes in to meet a date that he set up online. The scene that you see next, I think they had a copy of this book, and watch what he begins in his incantation. But that is Lilith, just to let you know. Lilith the Medusa. Lilith comes as a woman whose hair is vipers and asp flick from her mouth in the place of the tongue. If you've ever been stung by an asp, you know. I have. Had one fall down my shirt, and oh man. Their legs turn to water and their hearts as stone. That's where it come from. Lilith as a bird. Travelers in the desert hear her shrieks. She wears the shape of a bird of prey with the head and breast of a beautiful woman. While they lie asleep, I can't get over this, she defecates upon their faces. She falls upon their back with sharp talons and bears them down to Gehenna. You want to know where nightmares come from? Lilith the lion. There is yet another shape Lilith wears in the desert, and it is this. She comes upon the travelers unaware. Her body is that of a lion. Her head and breast are those of a woman. She challenges them and tests their wisdom with riddles, and if they fail, she violates them. I don't even want to go there. It's like, yeah, okay. If you're out in the desert and you turn around and you see this half lion, half woman, keep your mouth shut. That's when ignorance truly is bliss. Lilith the serpent. She comes as a great serpent with poisoned barbs in her tail and the face of a woman. The man lies in a charmed state. Now, this is a state of consciousness, a charmed state of consciousness. We had, I think it was Ruth that we were talking about, kindred spirit with charmed. She eats his member, and when he awakes, he is a eunuch, being neither male or female. Man, that's just wrong. I don't care. I'm telling you guys, that's just wrong. But we all have to remember this book that has more authentication than even many books of the Bible. We know Paul the Apostle had it. We know that Origen's had it. Origen's castrated himself in Alexandria. He apparently saw something he didn't want to see. Beyond comprehension. Lilith has many other shapes she puts on according to her pleasure. Now, folks, we've got to get this in here. She can manipulate, these beings can manipulate matter and photons. When you're doing this study, you can't separate the science out of this. If these beings manifest, manipulate, intervene in any way, then they have a knowledge that's beyond our comprehension. Now, the number of them is too great for pen to set down. So curious are some of the mind that the mind will not fathom them, but relinquishes them to chaos. There are powerful, powerful demons. They do not manifest because mortal man couldn't handle it. It would drive most insane. That's how fragile these minds are. Now, let's get into some of the detail. Folks, what you're going to learn now for the next 30 minutes, you're going to have an understanding of the spirit realm that you have never heard before. You may have heard bits and pieces, but I can assure you this, you are going to leave with a knowledge of how this kingdom that we are in, we're in hell, literally. This is hell. This book says it is. The Bible says it is. The Quran says it is. The Vedic says it is. This is hell. So while we're in hell, don't you think it might be a good idea that we learn what kind of kingdom we are in and that which is above and below? Yeah, there's even yet another hell deeper than this one. And that's hard for many people to accept. But and let me just quantify this, folks. We're dealing with an Eastern-based book. So much of what we read, of course, are going to be in that genre. All right? All right, so let's go on. These are the children of Lilith. The children of Lilith who are the first kind. So there is different kinds. We know of at least 2 different kinds with subsequent other kinds below that. They were born from the churning mill of the blind dragon when she lay coupled with her consort Samiel, the chief archon, who is her reflected image. You see, this is why the God of the Bible and all the other gods, it's why it can't look at itself. The other half is missing. And this is the reason for the hell here. because of this. And go back, it's I think it's in part 2 or 3 that you'll get the detail. Among them are the authorities. This is a class, and kings, another class, and fallen angels who lusted after the daughters of men. Now, we don't know if the fallen angels, which class they're of. We don't know if they're of the king class or if they're of the authority. They obviously wielded great power. Now, here's key. They are Holy Spirit, WHOLLY, without admixture of matter. Now, what is admixture of matter? Very interesting when I was studying this. And it led me, literally, I was led as though someone was walking me to this. Get this. Now, folks, this was written almost 2,600 years ago, estimated this book, maybe older. But this word admixture, today, we use it as genetic admixture. And that is the presence of DNA in an individual from a distantly related population or species as a result of interbreeding between populations or species who have been reproductively isolated and genetically differentiated. Admixture results in the introduction of a new genetic lineages into a population. I mean, literally, when I just had to sit back on my desk, my chair when I read that. And that's exactly what is taking place here. When we read about these kings, authorities, the trillions of demons that we're going to be studying about, this is it. Now, these beings are mostly spirit without the admixture of matter. Matter, I believe in this case, is actually DNA. It certainly seems to be pointing to that. They have no part of humanship, but take all of their nature from the fiery power of the Samuel that he received from his mother, Babylon. The children of Lilith. Give me 1 second, please. No. So these come directly from God. The only way to say it. Lilith, the blind dragon, lies with Samuel. This is the first kind, authorities, kings, fallen ones. First from the dragon, 12 authorities. They are ruled by the supreme authority, each rule in his house, kingdom in heaven. Now, it's a small h. That means literally above us, folks. Literally, when you go outside, look up. This is what that means. These are the names of these: Athoth, Barmos, Gala, Nobel, Adonalus, Cain, Zebel, Zerisana, Nubel, Zormorpiel, Mepharber, and Balas. Now, when you see the EL or the AEL or IEL, that signifies an archangel even higher than this group. Yeah, it's different. Now, this continues. The second to come forth are 7 kings' authorities. Consecrated them and set them in the 7 heavens. So there was a second group of spiritual beings. It's the only way to describe it. It looks like the 7 kings and the authorities, they consecrated them. Now, from the highest, their names are Athoth, who looks like a sheep, Eleos, who looks like an ass. Hestaphios looks like a hyena, excuse me. Neo looks like a serpent with 7 heads. Sabaoth looks like a dragon. Adonai looks like a baboon. And Zebedeus looks like a flame. I mean, seriously, folks, if you saw these spiritual beings, I don't know if they've morphed. I don't know. But it's clear that there's some genetic manipulation going on here. All right, so we have now 7 archangels are set to rule over all lesser angels, whose number is 365. And we have the names of these angels. We have Michael, Oriel, Asmendades, Cephas, I think it's Cephatoel. I practice these, but sometimes it's still Harmoin, Recphramus, and Amapors, excuse me. There's 5 spirits. They are engendered to command the 4 incorporeal powers of the essences of matter, and the 5th power that comprehend the 4. Now, this is a puzzle. It's I have it on my whiteboard. There's something very, well, there's wisdom here. They don't sometimes make this easy. So there are 5 spirits. They are engendered to command the 4 incorporeal powers. So incorporeal mean it's the ether, the unseen powers of the essence of matter. Well, there you go, right there. And the 5th power that comprehend the 4. So the key here is to truly understand who these 4 are. Now we go on. The spirit of heat is the fiery potency who is called Ba-Lor-Ropha. The spirit of coldness rules the watery potency. This one is Or-Thoros. The spirit of dryness rules over the earth potency, and this one is Mados. The spirit of moisture rules over the air potency. Etheros, ether, air. The spirit of quintessence is Orthodros. Powerful beings, folks. Let me go back. These are names you can invoke. I wouldn't recommend it, but when you know a name, you control that name. Now, this is the seduction of Lilith. To a modest man, she appears in the guise of a maiden with coy glances from out of the corner of her eyes. She softens his heart. Her fingers beckon him with temptation. The lower part of her face she keeps veiled, after the ways of a virtuous woman. His lusts quicken, and his heart grows hot. She appears as a harlot. Her eyelids are lined with Egyptian black. I'm going to have a program. I've had it for months, talking about the Egyptian blue. Going to have to go and put the black in there as well. And the nails of her hands and feet are stained with henna. Rings adorn her fingers, and bangles encircle her arms from her ears, and bangle ornaments. Her garments cover her without concealing. She laughs openly, even like a man, and meets his gaze of her lover in a bold look. Lilith's lover and their damnation. The lover damns himself with perverse acts. Now, we have no idea as to what a perverse act means here. That's the problem when you leave phraseology, when you leave them open to ambiguity. It's true. The part of his belly below the navel is polluted. Okay. I kind of equate this like getting a venereal disease. Lilith pours down his throat a wine of abomination and forgets the marriage vows and uses his wife as a harlot. Yes, even her uncleanness, he uses her as Adam did with Eve. Wow. And this still happens today, folks. It's in those distant recesses of our minds. Lilith exalts in her husk and transforms her vessel into the destroyer of worlds. Now, this is a very old term. If anyone's read the Colburn Bible, we know the event of the destroyer's passing was called the destroyer of worlds. I used to think it was the Jewish God, but I don't think so. Too much lends that these beings have a way that they could actually manipulate planets. It seems they have that kind of power. She comes to him as a giant, black of skin and full of eyes. Her voice is a roaring storm. Her breath stinks of corruption of the charnel pit. Now, a charnel pit is a place filled with death and destruction. Flames cover her limbs like a garment. This is just like the Jewish God described in the Bible. In her right hand, she brandishes a drawn sword that drips scorpion venom from its tips. She takes him down to Gehenna, and he is seen no more. Watch American Gods. You'll know what I'm talking about. The faces of Lilith. The faces of Lilith are masked, and her bodies are the changes of raiment. Consider that these beings can change molecules and alter matter and manipulate photons. Wow. Most often, she comes in a vessel of a woman to mock the memory of Eve. She is tall and slender. Her breasts stand forth like those of the Ethiopian, but their whiteness is as snow on the mountains, and her nipples invite the suck. Her hair is red as flames and falls in waves down her back. Her buttocks, I love that word, buttocks, Forrest Gump, buttocks. Anyway, her buttocks are round as the moon. Her hands are two white lobes that fly up to seed the mornings. When Lilith speaks, when she speaks, her words flow forth like oil of a newly opened jar. She smiles with promise of forbidden secrets. Her mouth is rimmed with the petals from the rose and sweet with the sweetness of honey. In her kiss is the sharp savor of ripe berries warmed in the sun. Her laughter is a babbling fountain that murmurs over a bank of snowy pebbles. Now we get into, let me get, because this is going to get really good, folks. Pay attention to this. In philosophy and in free thinking, as a free thinker, you cannot close off any possibility. So I contend to you, ladies and gentlemen, that what we're about to read right now, could it be that we lost this knowledge of the shaman, the healers, the witches, the sorcerers, that this is how they invoked healing, using the herbs, spells, cantations? For they knew who ruled over which part of the body. Yeah. All right. Lesser demons are set over the parts of the body. They aided the chief archon, God, in carrying the breath of life to the extremities of Adam. So what we're going to do here is body the name. And some of these names are virtually impossible, I think, to really pronounce. Head, Dimenodraza, right eye, Asterchim, left eye, Lasaposha, right ear, Neuronomos, left ear, bison. The nose is Aphorim. The mouth is Barim. The neck is Namir. the right shoulder, Nafuri, the left shoulder, Orton, the right upper arm, Tabar, the left upper arm, Anamilis, right elbow, Menishon, left elbow, Baharai, I think is that how it says it, right left arm, Ebetron, left lower arm, Ebethon. Look at this, folks. I mean, this is just fascinating when you look at this. You know, and the reason why I give this a lot of credence, someone took the time, if this is imaginated, they did a great job. Well, that's a great word, imaginated. I'm going to have to remember that one. All right, right hand, Q-dicis, left hand, Arabo, right fingers, Lampuno, I don't know. Left fingers is Liphernophore. All the nails of the hands are Carmon. The right back is Coda. The left back is Odera. The middle back is Taphoro. Forget it. Upper chest, bison dropped. Right breast, Babar. Left breast, Jamox. Right ribs, Asphanara. Left ribs, Sentachota. Left lower belly is Orof. Upper belly is Symphim. The navel is Bathabi. The genitals, male and female, is Bathanoth. The womb is Betaoth. The vulva is Sorma. The penis is Arabi. The testicles is Elo. Right hip is Barapas. Left hip is Banuth. Right buttocks is Kakachard. Left buttocks is Cathin. Right thighs is Kor. Left thighs is Karka. Right knee is Aol. AOL. Whoever knew? I had that. Well, you can't. There you go. Who'd have known that? Left knee, Karaner. Right shin is Aora. Left shin is Tochia. Right foot is Bashtan. Left foot is Mayroth Pulnoth. Right toes are Ardendin. Left toes, Abrana. All the nails of the feet are Mima. Wonder if we could actually invoke these if someone really had a pain. Who knows? Now, these are the demons of the inward parts. These are the demons that aided the spread of the breath of Samuel into the inner parts of Adam. They ruled over the organs. This is wisdom. When you hear this, this means there's something like, here, get the radar up here, get those ear flaps out. They're telling you something. The brain is Menagisteroth. Yeah, I got that one. Teeth, Amen. The gullet is Deirdros. The hardness of the bone is Nomeninorum. The marrow is Ablanlingard. The stomach is Gisol. The heart is Agramoa. The lungs is Bianio. The liver is Jestrophal. The spleen is Anesimilar. The intestines is Thorathreo. Kidneys is Babilo. The sinews is Roror. The veins is Zoporpobaba. All over all the demons of the parts of the body is set, and this demon is named Naro, for he is the one who commands the soul of the flesh. And again, this is wisdom. Now let's get into the fallen ones. Shemzinja, the chief among the leaders, taught the use of herbs and singing of songs and power. Folks, this is an invasion. This is an intrusion. This is a rape of humanity. That's all it is. And if there was a God that was powerful enough, would have never allowed this to happen. Unless, ladies and gentlemen, we are in a place called physical hell. Now, our Moros taught the art of making amulets for protection and fending off poisons. Each one of these bring a very unique, because you cannot help but not see this and realize this had to be where they were at. They had to get this knowledge somewhere. Now, Barajel gave instructions in reading the signs of the heavens. Kofabiel taught the names and the powers of all the stars and their constellations. Ezekiel taught the weather signs of the land and the sea, and the way of stifling storms and calling up winds and summoning rains. The rainmakers. What really got me is that there is a way we've lost. Man at one time was taught how to stifle storms and how to bring up wind and how to summon rain. We lost that. Al-Rafabra gave instructions in the geomanatical arts and the growth of crops. That's an old word, that geomanatical. Shazimzel taught the stations of the sun and the measuring of days. Serael taught the mansions of the moon and all her secrets. This one is a puzzle for me. Taught the mansions of the moon, so I get that. That would be phases. Got that. But there's apparently something else going on here, folks. There's more secrets that we don't know about the moon. Oh, I can see a session on Tuesday, huh? This is wisdom. Let him who has eyes to see what is written. Consider what has been revealed. Giants. They, the fallen ones, slept with the daughters of men upon the earth and defiled themselves. So it's very clear that these beings, although they're capable of having sex, maybe they have sex among themselves, I don't know. But it's very clear that once they interbreed with mortals, that defiles them. It literally looks like it takes their whole light away. The women bore giants, and men used forbidden arts. We don't know what forbidden arts are. We're just again told there was this knowledge. And the world was filled with blood and unrighteousness. Sounds like today, and I believe it is. There's a reason for it. We're going to find out here. I may go a little bit over, so stay with me. In punishment for their lust, the divine Autogen sent the avenging angel Michael. Now, this is replete. This cat is in virtually all religions. So it tells me I believe he exists. With a sword of flame. I think that this is a laser. I think it's some light weapon. He cast them down into a pit and bound them in darkness. Now, this darkness that we're going into here in a second, they will abide until the Autogen, the holy Messiah, descends to earth and redeems mankind, get this, from the torments of the flesh. Now, several things here. The size of the giants, Michael, and it is forgotten these were once light beings. So if you're going to cast them into darkness, it means that they no longer have light within them. And we have references to the Autogen and the Holy Messiah. The first archons. Among the powers, so there's powers. These are principalities, powers. Were those who lusted after the daughters of men, as Samuel, God, lusted after Eve. The first archon gave them permission. Again, how messed up is that, man? Did the first archon decide to ask us about this? No. Gave them permission to leave, to descend to the earth, and put on the likeness of men, that they might lie with their wives. Where I come from, that's fighting words. You going to come lay with our women folk? I don't think so. And God sinned with them, for they are his members. Now, this is an absolutely astonishing admission of guilt. This applies to what God did to Eve as well, and what Lilith did to Adam. They taught men many sorceries and corrupted them. All their number was 200, but of the leaders, they had 20. 9 angels followed the will of each leader. This thing is loaded again. The fact that they're coming down, and it looks like they purposely went in to commit adultery. Oh, they committed fornication, lots of coitusing going on. In fact, that's what I think these gods do. They're the most horniest bunch of beings I've ever seen. It seems like that's all that's on their mind. Personal comment. Now, the names are this: Jimjaza, Arafapa, Ramiel, Kefabiel, Timiel, Ramiel, Daniel, Ezekiel, Barakael, Jal, Anzazel, Armoros, Bartael, Ananael, Zakiel, Shemzeel, Sadaril, Turel, Zomajael, Sariel, Shemjaza. Now, Shemjaza, the top guy, is what many say is Lucifer. The fallen one's invasion. These fallen ones dwelt in the houses of men. They taught the arts of magic. So right here, folks, this is why magic is so hidden. What the public sees is a facade. Azazel was chief among teachers, though 10th among leaders. He taught the arts of smelting metals and polishing gems and making weapons of war. Excuse me, I just saw that. And the dyes and tinctures and ornaments used by harlots to arouse lust. Now, this is really interesting. Explain to me how the Bronze Age was before the Iron Age. Iron is much more easier to smelt, requires less intelligence. But yet, we mastered the more complicated first. Now, if there is such a thing as justice, then this is an indictment against God and his creation. To allow this to take place and then accept no responsibility is no justice. Mankind, almost from the beginning, has been used as pawns. That's just a fact, folks. All the books teach the same thing. Children of the second king. The children of Lilith, who are the second king, these arise from fornication with sons and daughters of men. They are compound. One part is spirit and one part earth. They dwell upon the earth. Different class of spirit beings here now, folks. They're here. They can manifest at will. They control countries. When you get into this, They are the offspring of Lilith in her multitude of forms, and her daughter, Namah, of Samuel, her consort. Among them are the giants engendered by the fallen powers on mortal women. They are taller than the common man and more beautiful. Spirits of earth, they are called, from their flesh part, and evil spirits, because they work destruction on earth and causes troubles and afflict the children of men. Now, you want to know why? This will be our last one. The spirits of earth Of the spirits of earth are two sort that differ after the manner of their birth. This kind is more spirit than flesh, than the other kind, which is more flesh than spirit. The arising of the first kind, Lilith comes to the bed of a man and stirs his member. She catches the spark of his seed and bears them away inside her womb. Lilith gives birth and nurtures them at her own breast. Some receive bodies out of the essence of fire. Another huge clue here. They are hot against the skin and dart through the air with quickness of a flame and have a strange laughter. How many of you seen orbs that actually seem to be speaking? Their dwelling place is in the marshes and upon the mountains, some in the air and some in the forest. Their faces twist from moment to moment, and they transform their shape. The name of this kind that is more spirit than flesh is, are you ready for this? Lilith. Where have we heard that before? Well, I tell you where we've heard that many times in the Sumerian text as well. So, yeah. Now, let me get rid of this. Excuse me, folks. I'm here. Well, there you go. It's filled with more insights. It's like sometimes the questions we ask of the planets. No, we get knowledge where we haven't had before, and it just, you go, what? And I think this is vitally important because, I kind of looked like this. Someone from the other side gave us their playbook. And if you can begin to know the names of these archons, these demons, these spirits, these forces, you can control them. Think about this, ladies and gentlemen. What we just went through today, virtually 99.9% of the world's population has never heard of this, have no idea. You do, I do. Those of you who have the book, the PDF, you know as well. And when we start getting, we're next week, just strap the seatbelt even. You might want to get yourself a 5-point seatbelt harness because, as you guys know, and ladies, it's oh yeah, people have gone insane, and it's because here's the thing. No spirit should be worshiping another spirit. The minute you do that, it's risky. You can lose your divinity. You can lose your sovereignty. It's very apparent you can lose your spark. Yeah. Going, what the heck? So, hey, Brian, how are you doing, my friend? Much love to you. Maria Truth Seeker, good to see you, my dear. So, yeah, jam-packed session. Wild. Go back and listen to it. Well, thank you, Consciously Aware. Folks, we've got a group here. We're learning, we're growing. And the more united we stand, and I'll just say this in closing. No one's perfect, least of all me. It's so funny. I mean, I think about something like, you want my faults? Really? Well, come on over. Someone said they were using it derogatorily. Said, oh, you're just an old hippie. And I went, well, hippie, yes. Old, I don't know. That's relative to what your mindset is. About a hippie, yeah. Nothing wrong with love, peace, rock and roll, classical, salsa, reggae. Listen, I do appreciate so many of you. I don't want to start thinking about it because it tears me up, but I've never seen such an outpouring of support. Thank you again. Thank you. It doesn't matter how many times I see a thumbs down or a snarky email. I'll always have this and challenge any other person to show me on their channel the type of support that's been shown here. It's a testament to you. And I thank you. I'm honored to be amongst you. It's a tribe, and we're growing our tribe. And we can expect sometimes attacks, but we will never divide amongst ourselves. We'll never be accusatorial to anyone. We'll invoke favor. We'll walk in love. And in that, folks, we're going to grow. And I think that's a good thing. Well, have yourself a wonderful weekend. I'll see you on Sunday morning over on Jeff Doherty's channel. Yeah, yeah, not your normal Sunday morning. Brian, hope you get well. I've missed you. And all of you again, thank you, thank you, thank you. You've healed me. Definitely blessed me. So, signing off. All right, folks. Bye-bye. Hey, I do appreciate you too. All right. Bye-bye.